Welcome to the Takedown Breakdown, the new and improved Takedown Breakdown with new fucking music. Finally, thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jowdies.
I try.
We got an action-packed show today. We got a lot to talk about. We are going to jump in. Jowdies, I want your thoughts on my friend Ignacio Bahamondes, the KO of the year. Yes or no?
So Ignacio Bahamontes comes off of the Dana White Contender Series, and in that fight he looked amazing. And I think for his first fight, they gave him someone who was just too experienced. This fight displayed his talent and his striking finesse. I mean, he was beating the brakes off of Roberts the whole entire fight. And just to set up this kick, he threw that kick, I think, 2 or 3 times in that fight until this one landed. Mm-hmm. And, he just showed dominance. This kid has come a long way, and he has a very bright future. He's tall for the 155-pound division. He's aggressive. He's tough as nails. I like him. I don't know if he's if it's KO of the year yet, because the year's still young, and we got a couple very good cards coming up, but definitely up there. That's one of the front runners.
It's gonna be tough to beat, man. I think they flashed a graphic last night on the show that I think it's like one of 3 spinning heel kicks, finishes of all time. It's like third or something like that. But it's
like it's Barboza, Stephen Thompson, and Marcus. That's good company to be in.
It's great company. Those.
It very well could be a knockout of the year. There's just a lot of, like Jody said, there is a lot of UFC left to go for the year, and then we also saw a lot of really good knockouts in the beginning of the year. Doug Rose with that head kick.
Man,
Usman's knockout. I mean, he knocked out 2 people already in 2021. So but that is up there. That head kick is up there. I think I was really fucking impressed. So I do agree with Jody. I think he does have a bright future.
I thought what impressed me a lot, to be honest, was just the way that he set it up. Because when I was watching that fight. In the first round, Roberts looked like he was really throwing that jab very well. But you know what I noticed, and I think I mentioned it to you guys in the chat, when I was watching Roosevelt, because I've seen him fight now 2 or 3 times, and he's never fixed this. He throws his jab, and he immediately brings it down. He's got and it was landing, but it's a lazy jab. Yeah. And I was really impressed with Bahamondes' ability to go body, and hurt him a bunch of times to the body. He really had him hurt quite a few times, and his posture told you everything that you needed to know because he went right down to the ground a couple times. He covered up a lot. So when he heard the 10-second clock go off from the judges table, he was like, "Fuck it, why not just throw it?" And boom. So for me, that was my favorite knockout of the year.
Yeah, I want to talk about his opponent a little bit. Like I was very, very disappointed, not necessarily because he didn't display his striking or whatever. I think he could have done a lot better, but I was more disappointed because if you watch tape on Ignacio, watch his last fight. You need to put him on his back foot. You need to put that man on his back foot. You cannot let him fight at range. Mm-hmm. You cannot fight scared, and you need to use movement. You need to use feints. You have to get him to open. You need to be first and third. That's how you beat that man. First and third. He was neither of those. He was backed up against the cage. There were so many times that he was literally standing straight up, not even in his fighter stance, because he was getting pressed up against the cage. And it's like, at what point does his corner tell him, fuck caution, like you need to just try and bully this man because you're getting peppered. And there wasn't a massive size difference between them either.
No, so, they're both pretty long though for the division. And I don't know. I wasn't very impressed with Roosevelt. I thought that was like probably his worst performance. And I got to question his gas tank a little. He just didn't look like he was in the best shape.
I mean, body shots.
Maybe it was that.
Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, I feel like the UFC did a good job matchmaking.
This
fight because Roosevelt, this is his third loss. He's 10-3.
And they wanted Bahamontes. This is a good matchup.
Yeah, they want to build him up, but he's 10-3. Like you said, he's very lazy with the jab.
Yep.
And I think Bahamondes is going to be good. I don't know if he's going to be an elite level fighter, to be completely honest with you. I think he can only pull this off with fighters like that. These unranked up and comers, or just like these, what's the word I'm looking for?
Prospects.
I want to say prospects. I don't think he's going to be able to pull these off with these top contenders.
Yeah. Talking about prospects.
Yeah.
William Knight. Oh my God, that is a scary individual.
Well, he's not one person. He's too wide. Like he has to be multiple people.
That's a big dude.
That's a big boy. But to knock somebody out like that going backwards, because Jesus and I asked each other, like, wait, what happened? Did he even hit him? Yeah, because I thought he got hit while he knocked him out. And he apparently hit him kind of like in the shoulder, chest area, so he didn't really land the way I thought. But Fabio Charant went down, man. Like William Knight, woo! And then the backflip finish. Oh,
it's funny. It's funny just because of the fact that William Knight was very careless. That he was very careless, as you saw. Like he wasn't very, he wasn't very defensive. Whenever he was getting, whenever Charant was going after him,
he didn't respect him at all.
Like he was backing up, but he kept his chin out. You know what I'm saying? So, but besides that, he was setting him up with some good leg kicks. So the calf kicks were working, the head kicks were working, but he was just a little bit sloppy with defending himself. That was the only thing that I was really happy.
Honestly, I like William Knight, but I think Charant wins that fight like 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10 times. I think he was winning the exchanges. I think he was a smarter fighter. I think he looked cleaner with the strikes, but you cannot throw a lead cross and drop this hand at the same time. You just can't do it, especially if you got a guy that's trying to check your punch, trying to throw that check hook. He literally threw a 1-2 twice before getting knocked out. He threw the 1-2, and William Knight threw the check left hook and missed. That should tell you that's what he's fucking looking for. And then you hop in and you drop your hand while you're throwing the cross. I don't know, man. I think he got comfortable on the feet because he was hitting him. And that's what William Knight wanted. He wanted to bait him in because he knew if it's a firefight, I'm fucking strong. And that's what happened, man. He didn't even turn the elbow in. That backflip. The big boy backflip.
William, huge. He looks a little short for the division though. So I want to see what his gas tank is like though. Like imagine like bringing it, because the next fight I want to see him go after like a wrestler or something. I want to see what he looks like and see more of a complete game from him. But I mean, look, that's why power is the great equalizer, right? Like it's you're not going to see like this brilliant jiu-jitsu match from him. I don't think like what you saw last night. With Pantoja and Royval, those guys are fun, man. Like that was exactly what Jesus was talking about a couple of weeks ago about a fun jiu-jitsu fight, like kind of like that Bryce Mitchell type of
That was a beautiful jiu-jitsu grappling exchange. Like it didn't end. Like you thought. And then Royval, there was a point that he was going to go for a heel hook, then he was going for a calf slicer. Bro, that was an amazing like jiu-jitsu grappling match. That's the type of shit I want to see. Not, you know what I'm saying?
That's not going to happen in Burns versus Masvidal. I'm just like
exactly.
That's circling it back to next week.
No, it's not going to happen. I know that, but I'm just saying. I wanted to go off on Royval for a second, and he's kind of frustrating too because I don't know about you guys personally. I think Royval has champion written all over him.
Yeah.
The problem is, I really think he's one of the most talented guys in that division. Okay.
He was giving Moreno a hard time.
He was winning the fights.
Yes, he's long. He's excellent on the ground. He's got good hands. He's good everywhere. The problem is he takes too many risks and he's a little bit sloppy sometimes. Like he's a little high on the back sometimes and he slides off. He gives up his back an awful lot. Like Pantoja didn't even have to work for his back a lot of time. That's not a knock on Pantoja. I think I was going to get to him in a second. Pantoja is hands down the toughest fight in that division for Moreno. He's 0-2 against them. Yeah, he's 0-2 against them. I do think that Moreno is a different fighter now, and I think that is definitely the fight to make. But yeah, man, I mean, at the end of the day, I think Royval could be a champion, but he really needs to tweak some things in his game.
I think you know what it is about Royval, and I'm a huge Royval fan. I think he's very, very good, but he is very fixated on entertaining, and I love that because that's what people want to see. That's what made the UFC what it is. That's what people like, and he says it. He's like, "Yo, I just want to entertain. I want to entertain. I want to entertain," and but you can't be giving up too much, and he gives up too much in those exchanges.
He does.
He takes risks, and we love that. But if they're not paying off, if now you're on a 2-fight skid, like now you're on a 2-fight skid. This next fight, he needs to fight smart. Fuck entertaining. You could give me a boring Brandon Royval because I don't think it'll be boring. I don't think he has the ability to be a boring fighter.
I agree with you
1,000%. I need him to get a win. I need him to get a win because he can win that title.
It was a big ask though too. He's the 3rd in the world and Royval's only 9th. So it is a big ask. This was a tough fight for him.
Yeah.
So here's my thing, right? So I feel like since Royval, if you look at Royval's first fight in the UFC, right? He was very timid. He was quiet. Yeah. He wasn't really too what's the word I'm looking for?
Critical of his own performance too.
Yeah, very critical of his own performance. But he was what's the word? I guess cocky.
Passive?
Cocky. Like he wasn't like he didn't have that confidence in him, right? And I think that once he won and he got that big pop, it was like he felt like he needed to now start to fight that way because he's like, damn,
I got eyes on me.
Remember he was like, yo, I have to go back to work. I need to make this 50K or whatnot. So maybe he feels like he has to put on a show every fight because he needs to stay relevant in that division, which is really hard to stay relevant because no one really cares about the 125 division, to be completely honest. If you're a casual, you have no idea the 125 division. It's not fun.
Which is insane because it's one of the best divisions. It's one of the best
brands. Pantoja, Royval, Moreno, these are good guys.
It's such a fun division, and because all of them are so conditioned. It's a fast pace. They're very talented. Like I love the 25ers.
There aren't a lot of super flashy finishes, and I think that's part of what doesn't. And Demetrius Johnson being so dominant for so long.
Yeah, he was
It was just kind of like, okay, Demetrius Johnson fight. Who's he? He was
almost a net negative. That's the problem with having dominant champs on that level because it's almost a net negative for your entire division. Bro. It's not even fun. Listen, I think the 170-pound division is really, really fun. But I got to be honest with you, I don't see anyone beating Usman. I really don't.
Yeah.
I don't. I just don't.
It's like John Jones. Like at some point.
Yeah, 205 was kind of dead too.
But it's crazy because Demetrius Johnson was so dominant. He paused his live stream, went next door to MGM, beat Cejudo in 1 round, and hopped back in his chair and was like, "Okay, guys, I'm back."
I want to show you guys the division. And the reason why I want to show you guys is because these guys really do need to get their flowers.
Let's give them some
right. So look at this 125 division. It's fucking stacked.
Ridiculous.
It's stacked, to be completely honest with you. Look, but all right. So Benavidez is a legend. I wouldn't
Perez, Askarov.
You know what I'm saying? Like that top 10, Kai France. Kai France, I don't know how to pronounce his name.
Kai Kara.
Alex Perez.
Tyson Nam is really good, and he's only top 15.
Tyson Nam is crazy. Yeah, Tyson Nam's
crazy.
Yeah, so like that division is so stacked. It's just it doesn't get enough love.
Tim Elliott and Matt Schnell are both very good too. That I don't know if they have a fight right now, but that's a good fight to make.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, man. I really do think that they should get their flowers. Thank God for.
Askarov is hurt too, so I don't think he's getting a shot.
Moreno is a good champ. Like he has star potential.
And I loved.
He needs to talk more though.
Yeah, but I loved the call out from Pantoja last night. Like
it was so nice.
The show of respect. The show of respect after beating him twice. He's just like, hey man, he's gotten better and he got cut and he came back and he's been improving and he's the true epitome of a champion because he earned it and they're 100% right. And I love the fact that he can not only be a great inside the octagon. He's great cage side with the commentating. He's a Spanish commentator. And then you get all the love and respect from guys across the UFC in every division that love this kid. So it's great.
Obviously I'm a big Brandon Moreno fan. My thing is, so what I'm worried about is
Mexico.
How much better is he really? You know what I'm saying? And this is why I say that. So we said that. So Pantoja beat him twice, right? And then
very tough. Keep that in mind. And he was last pick.
Yeah, and then Royval honestly was winning that fight. Figueiredo is a completely different animal. He is flyweight plus. You think about flyweight, you know what I'm saying? You think about.
But he beat him twice, in my opinion.
Yeah, I thought.
He beat Davison twice, in my opinion. Let's just say the first one was a toss-up, which is fair because it was a draw. The second time, there is no fucking doubt. And the fact that Davison right now is being like, "Oh, I want a rematch." Like, why? Why do you get a rematch?
I just want to see how much better he's gotten because he said that he dedicated 6 months to fight Figueiredo. Right?
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm
not gonna lie. I think he has improved.
I think he's night and day.
No.
Night and day.
I think so too.
Not his ground game. His fucking boxing
is so. It's so
God,
good.
No, I agree. But I just want to make I hope he is. I hope he stays champion for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? I just want to make sure. That's just the question for me. How much better has he really gotten to keep up with, someone like a Brandon Royval?
You're saying, has he reached his peak or can he continue to get better?
Can he continue to get better?
Well, I think he's a worker, first of all, because he's in the gym a lot. And second of all, that's the thing.
Canelo too.
Yeah, and that's the thing with fighting a lot of the time. Like, when we were talking about Pantoja and he beat the champion twice, or like a guy like Derek Lewis who took out Ngannou, or, sometimes what we don't talk about, because none of us are professional fighters, we don't stand across the cage from somebody, and sometimes they just give you a look that you're not really comfortable with. Like, you can't get comfortable against certain people. And maybe it was like that for Moreno against, in those Pantoja fights. But I'm just saying, guys improve and guys work on their craft. And I think Jesus' point about him taking 6 months to prep for Davison, yeah, I think that's fair. But if you watch him fight, because we talked about this last week, the eye test matters. And when you watch guys fight, who's putting in work and who's not. Roosevelt Roberts, in my opinion, he's not getting better. Yeah. He's not getting better. But every time I see Brandon Moreno, and I've watched 5, 6, 7 of his fights already, he's gotten better.
No, I agree. I just hope that he stays that way. That's all.
And I think he knows how much he has riding on it. He didn't just win that belt for him; he won that for his whole country. So I think he's gonna really put in the work.
Some guys improve, some guys they stay stagnant, and I'm very concerned that Kelvin Gastelum has hit his ceiling. But going straight into the main event, I don't know what he can do to get back to winning form, because on any given day he could beat any of these guys. It's just not happening for him.
What I've noticed about him? So I will say this, and this is really what the main thing. We could talk about this for the rest of the episode, and I'd be fine with it. Because
we do got to break it down, because Kelvin Gastelum and Jared Cannonier, both of them pose real challenges for Adesanya. But that's the guy who gave Adesanya with KG.
But that's the guy who gave Adesanya his toughest.
And Robert Whittaker beat the brakes off both of these guys. So Whittaker 2.0 is going to be a different animal.
I have been talking about this for a year plus. You guys know how I feel about this. As much as I love Israel Adesanya, I think the best 185-pounder in the world right now, and of all time, is Robert Whittaker. And I think that when they fight again, I think you will see an Anu. I really do. I think that Robert Whittaker is the cream of the crop. His athleticism, his movement, the striking, the ability to mix in the wrestling, the takedown defense, the gas tank. He is so good. And he outstruck Darren Till. You don't see that, okay? But here's my point, though, with KG.
He has beaten everybody.
KG, I think it's fair to say, as much as I love KG, he's one of my favorite fighters in the world. It pains me to say this. You saw the best version of KG, and he hit his peak in that Israel fight.
Yeah.
And here's the problem with KG. He has all the tools. He has all the tools, but there's something about him whenever he seems to be in control of a fight. Because there was moments in that fight where like, oh shit, in that second round, KG is doing his thing. He's doing the Ali shuffle. You see vintage KG moving his head. He's throwing that big 1-2. He clipped Jared Cannonier a couple times, right? He hurt him a couple times, those leg kicks, right? And then he gets hit. He gets hit too fucking much. He's got a huge head. The guy he's always getting hit in the worst part. So the other thing that hurt him a little bit in that fourth round was the stumble. They talked about that. He didn't get dropped by Cannonier in the fourth round. He stumbled. But on the judges, maybe they gave him 4 out of 5 of those rounds. Personally, I gave Jared 4 out of 5 rounds.
I just, the thing about Gastelum, you're right. We saw the best of him that Adesanya fight. And it's tough because he had been working his whole fucking career. His Instagram is literally on a mission for gold. And that was his first title shot. And he was supposed to fight Whitaker. And I think if he had fought Whitaker that time, I think he would have won that fight. But then he fought Adesanya, and he was so ready to be champ. That was the absolute peak of his, and he could fucking taste it. And then it just gets snatched away. Like, I really think that Adesanya took his soul, man. Like, and you know how, just when some guys just take a piece of you, like Dominic Reyes and John Jones, fucking Anthony Smith and John Jones. Like, John Jones is one of those guys where you fight Usman, another one of those guys where we've seen, I don't know, because Burns came back really, really good. But there are certain guys.
Gaethje Ferguson?
There are just certain guys that you fight and they just take something from you. And if you can't recover that.
It's a good point.
It's over, man.
When a brawl like that, you leave a different person.
Yeah, bro.
You don't come back the same. Yeah. And that's the thing with
But how come Izzy
brawls like that?
Because he won. He won. He came out of the fire on top. It's like Gastelum got burnt. That's what it is. It's like you go in the fire, you either come out Michael Scott or you fucking
So that's the thing, right? So if you win, your mentality is completely different.
Oh yeah.
You're on top of the world. When you lose such a big fight like that, you're like, damn, like what went wrong? I feel like I did everything right.
But is KG, has he gotten better? That's my thing. Like,
that's what I'm saying. I don't think he has. And it's bothering me.
He's a black belt who got heel hooked by
Jack Hermanson, who then got beat the shit out of by Vettori.
Yeah. So my thing is like and that's what I was talking about with different looks, right? Like ironically, like maybe Israel was a better look for Kelvin than some of these other guys. But like the idea that he thought he really won 3 or maybe 4 of those rounds last time, I'm like, you got to be a little delusional. Like even if I gave you 3, like where you got to really pull out some evidence there. For me, he won the second round and only the second round, and that's it.
So I agree. So, and it's funny that we're talking about this now, right? Like how you like certain fights you leave and you don't come back the same. I don't want to stay too much on Gastelum because of the fact that we also got to give Cannonier his flowers.
Oh, absolutely.
We will. I'm just my thing with Gastelum though. Like, can I ask you a question? When you think of Kamaru Usman, you know his identity. When you think of Israel, you know his identity. When you think of John Jones, you know his identity. When you think of whoever, what is Kelvin Gastelum's identity?
He's a tough motherfucker. That's pretty much it.
So he's a tough guy with the Mexican fighting spirit. He's got a metal chin, right? But what is his identity? You don't know if you're going to see the bouncing around Kelvin. You don't know if you're going to see the guy trying to wrestle you. You don't know, like, and it's good to be well-rounded, but I'm like, every time he goes in there with like a quote-unquote a game plan, he just seems to be freestyling in there all the time.
I mean, maybe that's how he fights. But with the Ian Heinisch fight, he kind of had to wrestle because that's how that came to be. But I think the best Gastelum is what we saw yesterday: the bouncing around, the movement, the elusive. But
his best is not good enough, and that's what I'm trying to say. With Ian Heinisch, do you remember when he took Ian Heinisch down after Heinisch threw that knee?
Yeah.
right? That's my point. He got destroyed with a knee and still got the takedown, which is like, oh, wow, like great job by Kelvin. But why is it always that he needs to get hit 2, 3, 4, 5 times?
He's short.
Nah, but I don't buy that. I don't think his style. But he moves so well, man. Like he
has to move well because he's short. If he didn't have as good head movement as he had, he would never be at the top of the division.
Hold on 1 second.
He has so much disadvantages. He's short. He's stubby. Like what?
Do you know who Kelvin Gastelum is?
Yes, he's fucking good.
No, Kelvin Gastelum is me. Like that motherfucker. That motherfucker needs This motherfucker needs a nutritionist. He doesn't need to fight at 85.
Yeah, he does.
I've been saying this. He should be at 70, but he doesn't.
I think he's good. But that's the thing.
I think 85
he's
is
been good at 85.
He has looked better. I know, but he's just not good with that weight.
The only knock is he's short.
I know, but that's my point. It's like when you fight. Look at Cannonier, bro. Cannonier was a heavyweight. Okay, and I know he's not 6'4", 6'5", but he's gonna run into like Israel is 6'4", right? And ironically, he had his best fight against him. But I'm just saying he's short for the division. I would love to see him get down to 70 and do it without killing himself. Because I'm telling you, he could absolutely get there. He just doesn't understand nutrition.
I don't see him being a champion.
I don't know, man.
At 70,
bro, how's he gonna beat Usman?
I'll tell you this right now. Kelvin Gastelum's skill set at 170, if he made that weight comfortably, is the toughest fight for Usman, hands down. Hands down. Maybe besides Burns, that's about it. Hands down, Gastelum would be phenomenal. But I just think he had to kill himself to get to 70.
I mean, you would have to say the same for Robert Whittaker because their frames are too big, man.
But Robert is at least of a height where, like, okay, it makes sense for him to be 85.
Bro,
correct.
If Kamaru Usman were to fight Kelvin Gastelum, you don't understand the amount of pressure that Usman is going to put on Gastelum.
Bro,
that's not going to be an easy night. But he's not gonna, bro.
He's not at that level.
Physique. Look at their physique; it's completely different.
But that's my point. If he fought at 170, look at the body fat percentage. You talked about Robert Whittaker a second ago. Robert Whittaker doesn't have body fat. If this guy has body fat, I promise you that he needs to fight at 70, but he can't do it because I think he's given up on that possibility. But if he had the right nutrition people in his corner telling him, like, hey, here's how to do your cut, I just don't think he wants to do a cut anymore. And a guy who's quote-unquote on a mission for gold would do fucking anything for that gold. And I don't think he wants to fight at the correct weight.
He almost missed weight, too.
Yes, and that's my point.
But he also took some guys out, like some notable guys out. He took this thing out.
He did. What I'm
saying? Like
he did. He's a great fighter. That's not my knock on him. But I want him to fight at a smaller weight because he's 5'9".
I think that 185 is the division for him. The problem is he is short. That's it. Like, he's short for that division. You have to be a fucking god to be able to beat these guys at 5'9", 185.
That is fucking hilarious.
Like, Cannonier's tall as shit compared to him. Like, bro, it's like Bahamontes is like, how tall is he? 5'11", 6'1"? Like, of course he's going to have an advantage. He fights at 155. Everybody there is around Gastelum's height. What is going on? But listen, besides that, I just don't see Gastelum making an improvement. I don't think he can get any better. I think he's already a jiu-jitsu black belt. Where the fuck is he going to improve there? He's already an excellent boxer. He has great head movement.
He does.
He's good overall.
So why is it not good enough? That's what I'm saying. Like, why can he not get over the hump?
He's good everywhere, but he's not great anywhere, like you like to say.
He's Jorge Masvidal.
All right, chill out.
I'm just saying. He's not a journeyman. I get that.
But let's talk about Cannonier because he put on a fucking show. Like, I really like the improvements that Cannonier made. I think his striking was a lot crisper.
And that's why I said that we need to give him his flowers because
he made improvements.
What we said earlier was that
his movement was great last night.
When you go through a really tough fight, right? You don't come back the same, especially if you lose, right? What we saw here was two people who had really big losses
to the same guy.
And that's the Robert Whittaker effect.
He came back so much better. And it's like it's that will, it's that tenacity, it's that, it's that like yearning for greatness. And as we saw, he's yearning for greatness. I think that he is, and the big thing was we have now we actually have a new contender. You know what I'm saying? Who's not besides Robert Whittaker. And you can easily set that fight up.
He's always been a contender. I mean,
he needed that. If he had beaten Robert Whittaker, we would definitely
got a title shot.
Do you know what's really funny about the fight from last night? Watching that fight, the only thing that I can think of about how brilliant Cannonier looked was this. He looked like Robert Whittaker. He looked like the guy. I'm not even trying to be. I'm not even trying to be funny. I mean it. Yeah. I mean this. He looked in terms of the movement. You know how Cannonier, and you talk about this a lot, Jowdy. You're talking about instead of just going straight back when you're backing up. He doesn't. He cuts the angle now. That's a big piece of the game, moving backwards. Not a lot of guys move backwards well anyway, right? Yeah. If you can cut the angle, it'll set up your next shots, and he clipped them a lot of the time with great counters. So my thing with him is I didn't know if he can get over the hump of let's say I think Darren Till beats him. I think Kelvin Gastelums,
I disagree.
Robert Whittaker would beat him, and I was right. And I don't see him beating Izzy. I just don't.
I don't think Till beats him.
Oh, I do.
I don't. We can have this discussion right now. I don't think Till beats him. I don't think Till beats him.
Till is long.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I don't think that Till beats him. Because Till fights with his fucking hands down, and he is a very stationary target, but he is very good at gauging distance and feinting his way in. However,
that's true.
He's fighting the wrong guy to do that against because Cannonier hits hard. He has very crisp, straight punches, and he has learned how to move his head and cut the angle. And if you watch Till versus, I believe it was Cowboy, right? Where he presses you up against the cage and he's like feinting to try and, clip you. But if the other dude is slipping, like Robert Whittaker, you're gonna get hit. You're gonna get hit. Or Jorge Masvidal. Yeah, exactly. And Jorge Masvidal come with a switch stance left hook. What the fuck was Cannonier doing all night? Switching stances. You ain't even noticed.
That was the best version of Cannonier. And it's gonna be.
He's getting better.
It was the best version of Cannonier so far, and it's gonna be a real shame when Darren Till starches that man. So
nah, you bugging, bro. He's
Darren Till is that. I'm just saying.
Till couldn't knock out Jorge. I promise you that Cannonier is just as tough as
Darren. I mean, listen, I'm messing around, but I do think that Darren Till is just a better striker.
Well, we have to see if he gets past Derek Brunson. Because Derek Brunson is going to try to take him down the whole time. And if he can't take him down, then Till wins that comfortably.
Till's got great takedown defense.
He's very strong.
Who takes Till down, honestly? Who took Till down?
Whittaker.
No one.
but for a second. He was
that won him the fight.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
he outstruck him though, too.
Yeah.
But here's going to be the key. Did Darren Till get better? Because that's the guy that I've been talking about for a long time. Did he get better?
I think he would have beaten the shit out of Vettori, honestly. Vettori's really lucky. He's really lucky that
I think Vettori is a good fighter, but I think he's a little overrated. I really do.
I don't think he's that good. Honestly.
He fights with his heart on his sleeve.
Yeah, and his best fight was against fucking Jack Hermanson?
He's a psycho.
He's not good.
He's a psychopath.
That fight was versus Kevin Holland.
Yeah. But look, as much, and you guys know how much I fucking dislike Paulo Costa. I don't think he's good. I think that man is fucking garbage. But, all disrespect to Paulo Costa. All disrespect. So if he ever sees this.
Sign the contract.
Sign the contract. I don't think you're good. But with Paulo Costa, I think he's going to beat Vettori. I see him pressing him. I see him beating him up. And if it does go to the ground, Costa does have a good enough black belt pedigree to be able to get up, So I don't know. But I think Costa may win that. And then what does he do? Does he fight Cannonier?
Wait, Costa beats who?
Vettori. After that, does he fight Cannonier for the title eliminator? Wow. Izzy and Rob get shit sorted?
No.
Because Cannonier said he wants another fight.
No.
Or does Cannonier fight the winner of Derek and Till?
But you know what's interesting?
Somebody has to fight between now and the Whitaker fight.
So I agree, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because although he did a lot, I don't think it was enough to say, I bet he's gonna be. I think he should fight next. But if you know what I'm saying, if you have to do it, I think that he did well enough to put himself in that contention in the conversation. But I don't think he did enough to be like, okay, like he's the solid, clear-cut number one contender. But I wouldn't have a problem at all if they made him the number one contender. Does that make sense?
Well, would they give? So you're saying that they would give Cannonier the winner of Vettori and who? And Costa?
If I'm Dana White, I'm giving him the winner of Vettori and Costa because they're ranked higher. And then I'm giving the loser, I'm giving the loser of Vettori and Costa to the winner of Brunson and Till. And then I'm giving the loser of Brunson and Till to Gastelum.
I think we're not thinking.
That's how it breaks down. And then
Till fought Gastelum already. So if lose.
Exactly. So that division, that whole division, man, is so clean, like in terms of how it can line up. It's not like welterweight, where welterweight's just pure chaos. Like who the fuck is gonna fight Usman? That one is like, we know that Adesanya is or whoever is the champ is going to fight all of them. If Whitaker's the champ, he already beat him.
Yeah, I agree.
If Whitaker wins that fight, there's a rematch, instant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does Hermanson have a fight coming up?
No, but who?
Because Hermanson, no, because Hermanson could fight Sean Strickland.
No, Luke Rockhold is fighting Sean Strickland.
Yes, good point.
Uriah could fight Jack Hermanson.
Yes, that's a good fight. So Uriah Hall and Jack. But then here's the thing. I think if Paulo Costa fights Vettori, the winner of that fight, it's weird because I'm telling you, neither one of those guys, it's pointless. Neither one of those guys deserves a rematch at Izzy. It was dominant on both ends.
I agree.
If they fight Cannonier, I think Cannonier beats both of them.
I agree with you.
If he beats both of them, then it's like I'm here.
Which is why I don't want Cannonier to fight again. But he was saying how he's broke and he needs to fight.
So that's what I'm saying. Like he has to fight somebody.
So then give him
a name that makes sense is the winner between Costa and Vettori. It's the only one that makes sense. Who the fuck are you gonna give him? Till versus Brunson?
Give him the winner of Till versus Brunson.
Because what if Brunson wins that fight?
What if Brunson wins the fight?
Yeah, what if Brunson wins that fight? That's a possibility. He could take who knows? What if Brunson wins that fight? If Brunson wins that fight, then it's like, okay, Brunson can take down an elite level striker that's taller than him and maybe even stronger than him. I don't know how that plays out with Cannonier. And if Brunson beats Cannonier, ain't no fucking way that there's a rematch happening with Izzy.
Yeah, but where in what world is Brunson gonna beat Cannonier? I just don't see that happening.
That's what I'm saying, but he has to fight somebody, and it makes sense for him to fight up instead of fighting down. Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna give Till the chance to take over that spot?
Cannonier has already said that he.
I mean, but if you have a more, because listen, like at the end of the day, right? I think Brendan Schaub said it. It's putting seats to asses, right? Dana White. Yeah, whatever. My fault. Dana White.
On another episode of Jesus Can't Speak today, and then.
So fuck you. Dana White is really big on making the fights that make sense. But that are most exciting, right?
Yeah. Till versus Cannonier.
Cannonier had a really good performance, right? He was very solid with that whole fight was beautiful. It was a beautiful performance by Cannonier. But I'm telling you, if Till versus Brunson ends in exciting fashion, there's no question about it. It's like, yo, I need to really make this fight. I need it now. I need to see
Till's gonna get the title shot.
And on top of that, instant. And on top of that, Izzy wants to fight Till badly.
He wants to fight both of them.
Izzy really wants to fight Till, but he's calling. But I think he really wants to fight Till a little bit more just because of the style of fighting, right?
Yeah,
he's gonna fighting.
it's going to be
I do think Cannonier gives him more problems than Till.
And wait,
again,
you're talking about Izzy?
Yeah. Styles make fights.
Yeah.
Till versus Izzy is a straight up kickboxing Muay Thai match, and Adesanya has a better record than Till in that world. And
Cannonier poses a bigger threat to Izzy, just because of the power. So, but Till is far more technical. I find. I think Till
he doesn't move his head. You're not understanding me.
But he's not gonna fight.
Move his head.
He's not gonna fight Izzy like that.
Bro, you really think that Till is going to faint better than Izzy?
Say it again.
Listen. Do you think Till is gonna beat Izzy in a fainting match?
It's not even that. It's just, to be honest with you, I think it's a way better matchup to fight Israel for Till than it was to fight Robert Whittaker to Till.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I completely.
If I'm being honest. And that's why he lost that fight. That's what I'm saying. I think Izzy is actually an easier fight than Robert Whittaker. I'm being serious for Till.
I mean, in terms of style, in terms of style and keeping distance, I think because that's what's really going to be. I think it's going to be a really technical fight between those two because of the styles, because of that kickboxing and that Muay Thai style. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's going to be a barn burner, if you will. You know
I will say this: if Till loses this fight coming up, the discussion of him being elite in either of the divisions that he's competed, I think, has to be put to bed. And I know that he's young, but I just don't like. At what point is it like, well, he's kind of lost like quite a few fights in the last couple of years?
Well, I mean, he beat Gastelum.
No, I understand that, but that's about it. But that's about it. We haven't seen him with his arm raised in a while.
He belongs at the top of the division.
He does, but that's what I'm saying. Is he
a win over Derek Brunson?
But you start having that is he a gatekeeper conversation. That's my point.
Like a Wonder Boy Thompson type deal.
True. There you go. Derek Brunson.
But I do think he belongs in the division. And you know what I think also belongs? You know what I also think I belongs? Clean sneakers. I hate when my sneakers get clean. And what do I use?
You hate when they get clean?
I mean, excuse me. I hate when they get dirty. God damn it. Always fuck it up. I hate when they get dirty. And what I use to make my sneakers clean again is Good Feet Cleaner. Guys, go to goodfeetscleaningcompany.com. TDBD15 at checkout for 15% off. If your sneakers are dirty, make sure you use Good Feet Cleaner. Not like me that I say I hate when my sneakers are clean. But yeah, guys. So yeah, for real. I think that Till, like, it's true. He could become the Stephen Thompson of that division. But I don't want to stay too much on those guys because I think that there's also somebody who really deserves their flowers, and we need to start highlighting that person. And I think that person is Kayla Harrison.
Yeah, we always every episode of the Sausage Fest. Let's talk about the women.
Kayla Harrison is probably, honestly, I think that is the best dance partner that Amanda Nunes can possibly have. Besides,
why are we having this conversation?
Why not?
Because we need to.
No, we don't. She's in another promotion, and you heard what Dana White said already. Dana White is 1,000% right. Listen. Do you realize? Like, let's talk about this real quick. Do you know how Austin Vanderford is going to get a title shot against Gegard Mousasi?
No, I don't even know who that is.
That's pathetic. You should know that. Anyway, so Austin Vanderford, aka Mr. Van Zant, is going to get.
Oh, come on!
Is going to get a title shot against Gegard Mousasi. Everyone in this chat right now knows how good Gegard Mousasi is. But
now I know who he is.
But here's the issue: go find me, and he's undefeated. I think he's 11-0 Vanderford. Yeah, and he's a good wrestler.
He ain't good enough.
But who the fuck has he beat? And that's my issue. I am all for PFL. I'm all for Bellator. I'm all for ONE. I'm all for all these other. That's fine. But who the fuck has Kayla Harrison beat yet?
Listen,
like I need to know. And he's right. Dana White. Dana White was saying she's going to be in for a rude awakening. If you pull the trigger too early on Kayla Harrison doing some sort of cross or she becomes a free agent, they get a title shot right away, you got to worry about that. Well, I'm not saying she doesn't handle herself.
I just think.
But Amanda Nunes?
If she fights Chris Cyborg?
Yeah, no, go ahead.
That'll be a real tough. All right, let me say something. So first of all, So you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm a little nerd for these gyms. I'm a little nerd for these MMA gyms. I don't know if y'all know,
but somebody in that gym knows what's going on. We know.
But Kayla Harrison and Amanda Nunes both
are in the same
ATT.
gym. So my point is that somebody knows. It's like Burns versus Kamaru. Somebody knows who's the real alpha in there.
I agree, but at the same time, like I think that Kayla Harrison. You don't have to. Kayla Harrison is what Ronda Rousey
should have
been.
Should have
been. Yeah.
Kayla Harrison. Kayla Harrison is fucking massive. She's a really good judoka, and she has ground and pound. She's strong everywhere.
She's a really good judoka. She's a fucking Olympian. Well, put some respect on her name.
You're right. My fault.
She's a really good judoka. Listen, Kayla Harrison,
two-time world Olympian.
No doubt. Kayla Harrison poses a big threat to Amanda because of the size and the skill set. But my point is that you can't go in there with sheep and then face a lion and expect me to think like, oh, that's just an easy fight. No. If she went into the UFC, she needs to fight twice, in my opinion. Twice before she gets an Amanda Nunes.
Who do you put her in?
Cyborg. If Chris Cyborg called her out, if she fights Chris Cyborg and she destroys Chris Cyborg, then we can have this conversation.
All right, wait.
Because Amanda Nunes knocked Chris Cyborg out like it was nothing, and Cyborg was one of the scariest strikers in all.
Here's the issue, though. Here's the issue. Different weight divisions. That's 10. Amanda's fighting at 10.
45.
10 pounds less than 155. Now, you said that she needs to fight twice in the UFC.
In the UFC, absolutely. No doubt.
145 is essentially dead.
Yeah.
In the UFC.
Right.
That featherweight women's division is essentially dead. Now, for you to say that she needs to fight two people, who the fuck does she fight?
Here's what you do. You bring her into the UFC and you have her fight Charles Oliveira at 155. because she's enormous, bro. No, I'm being crazy, but like I guess she has to fight at 35 in the UFC. Is that what you're saying? Or do they meet at 45? Because she's not quite 20.
So this is my clear-cut path for Kayla Harrison if she's really about it. Do they have a 55 division in Bellator for women?
No, not that I know.
Harrison has gone on record saying that she can make 45 if it's for the right fights.
This is the clip, and correct me if I'm wrong. Cyborg is in
45.
Cyborg 45, right?
Yeah.
You make that clear cut path. You make Kayla Harrison go to Bellator. There are some decent people there. You make her fight at 45 there. She beats Cyborg. Then there's no question about it. She goes to the UFC.
But they're not going to fight. They're not going to do a one-fight deal, bro. It's like you can't get your hands on a star like Kayla Harrison and be like, just one fight and see you later. No, she's going to fight for you. We may never see that fight is what I'm trying to say.
I don't think so. I mean, I would like to see it.
Amanda Nunes, she waits for nobody. My point is she can do whatever the fuck she wants, and she is the queen. She is the lioness, right? So my thing is Kayla Harrison has to come to her. And I've been on the record. I've said this for years now. Amanda Nunes is entering that part of her career as to like, why? Why? Like, why fight? It's not even competitive anymore. So when, I would like to see her fight again and then just retire. So it's like, you got to make this happen now.
If we're talking dominance, Amanda Nunes is that. Like, there's
of course, we know.
Nobody that is as dominant as that woman. Like, across two weight divisions, like, that's crazy. So it's like, but how do you make all these super fights happen? You have stuff happening now. You have promotion cross sports,
but it's not.
Dana White's not in the business.
He's not going to do it. He's not going to do it.
I don't. Yeah, he's not in the business of doing that just because he's kind of like the monopoly of it.
Even with a star like AJ McKee, if it's not happening for him, it's or Pitbull even.
He's still new.
It's UFC.
No, but he could have done it years ago.
They sold like 70K. Pay-per-views.
But think about this. He could have done it years ago with Michael Chandler or with Pitbull or whatever. And the thing is that their business.
Those guys aren't known.
Who? AJ McKee?
No, Pitbull and Michael Chandler versus Charles Oliveira did 300K pay-per-views because it was in the UFC.
Wait. Hold on. But you got to put that in perspective, bro, because look at what Israel just did in his last fight. Israel versus Vettori did nothing.
Bro, no, it didn't. It did 700K. What are you
That's not even close, though. That's my point. That's not $1 million. You think Israel? Hold on. Israel is a. But okay, Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier was doing 700. John Jones versus him didn't even do $1 million.
The biggest guys in the UFC barely get to $1 million. They get to 2 million, maybe. Like Conor has a hard time getting to 1 million.
But Israel is the biggest star in DC ever was. We know that. And my point is Israel is not doing that. So the cross promotion thing, like think about what you could have done. Like for me, I would jump at the opportunity to see Max versus McKee or Ortega versus McKee or Volkanovski versus AJ McKee. But my thing is that Dana White has made it clear. Dana White doesn't need to wait on anybody. Dana White has this shit on lock. And that's all that matters. Why run the risk of having people more interested in Bellator?
The only way that would happen is if he has a UFC champion that is so dominant and that champion is like, yo, fuck it, I want all the belts. And he somehow convinces Dana, line them up. And then they do.
He has it. His name is Kamaru Usman.
Give me Douglas Lima Usman. Thank you for saying that. Give me Douglas
I was gonna say
Usman.
I think Kamaru. I think Kamaru discards of his carcass in 3 rounds.
Yeah, I don't think there's a single welterweight on the planet in any promotion across all 5 of them that can beat.
Give me Kayla. Give me Kayla versus Nunes. And Usman versus Lima.
The same day.
Max
on the same card.
Max versus McKee.
I actually think.
You know what's interesting though. McKee. You know what's interesting though? Tell me I'm wrong. Okay, tell me I'm wrong. That if Bellator, if Coker and Dana White got together and they said, okay, we're going to do this one time. We're going to do a cross promotion one time, and you're going to give 5. You're going to give 5 unification. 5. Even if there's no undercard, 5 unification fights. Let's say you do champ versus champ, right? Tell me that's not the biggest event in mixed martial arts history. Tell me that doesn't do 2 to 3. That does 3 million pay-per-view buys. Easy.
Nah,
Easy.
You know how it hit? You know how you get 300 pay-per-view buys?
300?
I mean, excuse me,
3 million
pay-per-view buys with
300 BPFL.
Shut up.
I'm just talking
3 million pay-per-view buys. If you put Ryan Bader versus Daniel Cormier.
I want the easiest fight in the division. Give me Ryan Bader.
Here's another one. If they do that, they need to promote it as the other promotion gets dissolved into the other one.
Wait, hold up.
Can you imagine? It's like racing for pink slips, except it's fighting for.
It's like okay, we'll do champ versus champ.
That's amazing, bro.
We get your whole shit. Y'all become a sub camp for us, like LFA and Titan FC.
We forgot about Gegard Mousasi versus Izzy. That'd be a good fight.
That would be a good fight.
That'd be a good fight. Promotional, like champion versus champion. I think that would be a decent fight.
Yeah. That is a good fight. I think that's the most competitive.
And hold up. And let's say Anthony Johnson wins 205.
He ain't beating Bjorn.
He might not have to beat Jan because
if he faced Yuri Prohaska, it's even worse because he ain't touching that man clean.
Yuri Prohaska, man, he's a fucking problem.
I agree. There's so many things that we can talk about.
How the strongest Bellator champions were former UFC fighters.
Yeah, because that was their business model for a while. That was just them kind of, riding like the UFC's coattail. You got to call it what it is,
Bellator is TNA. that is
for all my wrestling fans out there.
I think we gotta.
We're gonna wrap up in a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of preview some stuff moving forward. Obviously, next week you guys got to tune in again. Please comment, subscribe, do all that fun stuff for us. But we got Edson Barbosa coming up versus Giga Chikadze on the next fight night. We got some good fights on that card. We got Derek Brunson and Darren Till on a fight night. We got we got some good stuff coming up. We got
Woodley Paul next Sunday.
Yeah, we do. We have that, so we can talk about that as well next week. And then obviously we're on the road to UFC 266 in September. You're going to have Volkanovski versus Brian Ortega for the featherweight strap. So we got a lot to talk about in the next few weeks. As always, guys, I could not do this stuff without you guys. And thank you, everyone who's been listening, tuning in, commenting, subscribing. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. Takedown, breakdown. You guys got anything else?
Yeah, man. Really quick, shout outs to Lambda 2 Row, for the shirt, para siempre bros. You know what I'm saying? Gotta shout them out one time. But I'm good. That's it. That's all for me.
Hey yo.
This is the Takedown Breakdown. See you next week.
Peace.